जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा वरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव माधव राधे गौरनिताय जय गौरनी जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद और प्रेमानंदे जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंदे श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories assembled devotees all glories assembled devotees all glories assembled devotees all glories Sri Guru and Gauranga Gosha Prabhupada ki jai. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 58. This chapter is entitled Krishna marries five princes. Text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahe Yasya Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So today's text is text 15, sorry, text 38. Please repeat after me. Architam punar itihi aha naranaya jagatpade atmendrina punaryasya purvani kim akalpaha architam punaritiha नारायणाय जगत्पते आत्मेन्द्रियेण पूर्णस्य कुर्वाणि किम् अकल्पकः अर्चितं पुनरितीह नारायणाय जगत्पते आत्मेन्द्रियेण पुनर्यस्य कर्वाणि किमकल्पिका अर्चितं पुनरितीह नारायणाय जगत्पते आत्मेन्द्रियेण पुनर्यस्य कुर्वाणि किमकल्पकः. Okay, please chant word to word meaning. Arshitam, to him who had been worshipped. Punaha, further. Iti, as follows. Aham, he, the king Nagajit, said, Narayanaya, O Narayana, Jagat of the universe, Pate, O Lord, Atma within himself, Anandina with the pleasure, Punarasya for him who is full, Karvani may I do, Kim what, Akalpikaha insignificant. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: King Nagajit first worshipped the Lord properly and then addressed him, O Narayana, Lord of Universe, you are full in your own spiritual pleasure. Therefore, what this insignificant person do for you? So there is no purport for this. We will read text 39. Sri Sukhovacha Tammaha Bhagavan Harshita Krishnastya Parigataha Megha Gambhiraya Vacha Sa Smritim Kurunandanam. Sukadeva Swami said, O beloved descendant of Kuru, the Supreme Lord was pleased, and after accepting the comfortable seat, he smiled and addressed the king in a voice as deep as the humbling of a cloud. Text 40. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Narendra Vichana Kavibhir Vigrataha Rajaryanam Bandhur Nijadharma Vichinta Tatapi Yechetva Surindriya Kanvayam Tvaindyam Nahi Sulka Vicham. The Supreme Lord said, O ruler of men, learned authorities condemned beginning for the person in the royal order who is executing his religious duties. Even so, desiring for your friendship, I ask you for your daughter, though we offered him no gift in exchange. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Kirananjanam Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So today in this context we see that Lord being worshipped by King Nagajit, Lord being worshipped by the king in the most respectful manner. King Nagajit first worshipped Lord properly and then addressed him. So when you worship the Lord, there should be a proper paraphernalia and also proper mood and also proper things to worship. That's called worshipable. Of course, Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachate. So, Lord is pleased by just offering water, a leaf, a flower, and a little fruit. That's a basic standard of worshipping the Lord. So, here we can see that to worship a Lord, you don't have to be a king, you don't have to be a rich person, or you don't have to be a very learned scholar, but the mood should be proper, and we should offer some prayers uh, to please the Lord. Of course, Lord has a number of pure devotees, a number of devotees who can please the Lord. But what is our endeavor should be, so mood should be proper and in a respectful manner. We should please the Lord. So the king Nagajit was also worshipping the Lord in the same manner with a respectful mood, and therefore he addressed, O Lord of the universe, you are the full of your own pleasure potencies. That means Lord doesn't need anybody's worship in one sense. Lord doesn't need your paraphernalia because he's Atmaram. He's in full of pleasure in himself. Like he's in his own potency, he's in full of pleasure. So that's why he's called Atmaram because he takes pleasure within himself. But by what? Why do we need to worship him? To re-establish our lost relationship with the Lord, and also to purify our consciousness or to purify our existence. We should worship. So, in that, in this context, Srila Jiva Goswami also comments on this. I just read it out. After king had been worshipped, the king spoke to him, O shelter of all the jivas, Narayana. Therefore, you are the master of all objects, Jagatpate. What can I, say, smaller than smallest, do for you? Full of your own bliss. You are full of your own bliss. He uses this possessive case, which is indirect to the indicating that reverence, though the Krishna is visible in front of him. So Jiva Goswami gives an update information that king is in worshipping, and he gives a different meaning that Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana, is a shelter of all the jivas and object of all the master of all the objects, and the smaller than the smallest, like what I can do, because you are processing everything, what I can do. So he gives in a humble mood of purport after this one, and he uses this indirectly that Though king is visible, though Krishna is visible, but the king is offering in a humble mode. So this is second quality of worshipping. We should be respectful and in a humility that we should worship. And we see the Sanatana Goswami commentary on this. I just read it out again. The king again worshipped the Lord because of the great affection. In order to speak to him, O shelter of all jivas, O protector of the universe, we cannot protect the citizens by levying taxes, etc. You depend on nothing else. Your experience is your experience bliss in yourself. You have happiness by your nature. O Narayana, O Supreme Lord, O Protector of the universe, Master of all the things. You are full of your own happiness. First, the king expressed the Lord who is visible and then invisible out of great respect. What can I do for you? Being a very small, I can do nothing. So Srila Jiva Goswami gives a slightly different commentary, which is very interesting, and and also gives us the vision of the kings, or gives us the picture of the king. So here he is saying that citizens of the king, sorry, citizens, the king is depend on citizens of the king by collecting taxes. That's but the Krishna, Lord Krishna, is nothing to do with the collecting taxes. He is full of pleasure in himself. He is full of experience bliss within himself. He doesn't have to collect taxes from the citizens. But whereas a king is dependent, but whereas the Krishna is not dependent. But here we see is giving a comparison between the a king and a Lord Krishna. We see that Lord Krishna is also king in the Dwaraka, but he is not like an ordinary king, like collecting taxes from citizens and giving them punishment. No, but Krishna is blissful within himself and happiness in his nature and and protector of the universe. And the first he expressed, Lord is also visible and also invisible out of great respect. So what can I do by being a small living entity? So this is the one. And text 39. The first line, Hare Krishna. Can you tell them this? The here we see the Jiva Goswami comments on this. The beloved descendant of Kuru. Okay. The beloved descendant of Kuru, the Supreme Lord, was pleased after accepting a comfortable seat. He smiled and addressed the king in a voice as deep as the rumbling of a cloud. So here we see the Sukadeva Goswami says that the Kuru, descendant of Kuru, Supreme Lord was pleased. Lord Krishna was pleased after accepting a comfortable seat. And now, after getting offerings, after getting being worshipped by king, now Krishna is speaking. So, in what voice he is speaking? Very as deep as rumbling of a cloud. So, Krishna's voice is compared to the rumbling of the cloud. So, Jiva Goswami says, the first line of this verse indicates the good fortune of the king, whom the Lord accepts as his devotee, and the second line shows how his heart was stolen by the Lord's sweetness and mercy. So these are the two things which Jiva Goswami says. And the Lord accepted a seat which was as offered for a long time. He was joyful because of the great bhakti of his devotee who desired him. This is shown by the acceptance of a seat, since he sat on it comfortably. Krishna smiled because of his nature, but also he but also because of attaining his desire with a little embarrassment. Out of excited, Sukadeva Goswami calls Parikshit, O son of Kuru. So this is a deep this is a brief description of the this translation given by Srila Jiva Goswami and Sanatana Goswami commentary. The Lord was endowed with unlimited qualities like affection for his devotees. He accepted a seat which was offered for a long time. He stood for some time because he was being praised, then he sat. He smiled out of his nature and gave him mercy of the king, or knowing king's arrangement as a desire. He felt inner joy, requested the daughter. Out of excitement, Sukadeva Goswami calls to Parikshit, O son of Kuru. So here we see out of excitement, Sukadeva Goswami is calling as a Kuru, Parikshit, because he belongs to the Kuru dynasty. And this is a elaborate description and brief description of the commentary. And just read the text 40. The Supreme Lord said, O ruler of men, learned authorities condemned beginning for a person in the royal order who is executing his religious duties, even so, desiring your friendship, I ask you for your daughter, though we offer no gift in exchange. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on this. Even though who is inferior, Kshatriya should not ask from another. So here we see the quality of the Kshatriya, that even though he is inferior, as a Kshatriya should not ask from another. Though I am the superior of Kshatriya, I am asking, I ask your daughter with a dowry. So Krishna is asking here. Sometimes Krishna's pastimes are inconceivable. We don't know what he does. So Jiva Goswami says, I act in accordance of human pastimes, which gives the bliss of prema to my devotees. So Jiva Goswami gives a description why he does what he does, Lord. So Lord Krishna is acting as a human pastimes. So he'll be acting as a human being and for the bliss of to prema to his devotees. Because of your prema, I transgress the rules that should be followed. So that is a reason. Krishna speaks with a skillful request worthy of Kshatriya, while indicating the scriptural conclusion. He addressed the king respectful as a father-in-law in order to make a relationship with him strong. O King Narendra, begging even for the fallen Kshatriya is strongly condemned by wise sages like by Vyasadeva, since stealing by force is praised. With a desirable establishing a happy relationship with you, or with the desire that you have prema for me, I as a Kshatriya asking for your daughter without offering any gift. This is a profound joke since in speaking of dharma, Krishna understood the price of the bride to be to be his trying of the bulls. So previously pastimes was Krishna subdued the seven bulls which are very strong and very powerful, and it doesn't you know it doesn't it's got it is very strong that it doesn't even smell the warrior. If he smells the warrior, it goes killing. So like that there are seven bulls, so Krishna subdued them. In that reason he might be asking. And Shiva Chanatana Goswami comments on this. I will be satisfied by your king's daughter. Begging as a Kshatriya is condemned by poets like Vyasa, and especially condemned by for those who their own dharma. Stealing the girl in the Swayamvara is praised by Kshatriyas. Praise for Kshatriyas. O king, you know this Narendra for having good relationship with you or desiring you as a prema for me. I do not give you gift for the Satan. For respecting the family, he uses the plural to indicate the Yadu out of his respect being born among the to indicate the huge family of Yadus. Otherwise, other would have think him insignificant. So Srila Goswami gives an elaborate commentary on this. By this we can understand, though even though Krishna is playing the role of Kshatriya, but he is still acting as a humanly pastimes, and also sometimes he is overriding the rules of the Kshatriya. So this is what we see whenever Krishna is being acted as a pastimes. So he was very merciful to his devotees and very caring, and to give the bliss for the devotees he can transmigrate or he can override any rules. He doesn't need to follow rules and regulations of this material world. He does only for the giving pleasure to his devotees, whereas ordinary living beings cannot do this. Ordinary living beings should follow the rules and regulations, and otherwise they will be punished, and they will be condemned by the society if they break the rules. As a kshatriya, he can fight with the king and take the steal the girl, but out of humanly pastimes, like as I said, going out of rules and regulation, he begged to another kshatriya. So this is inconceivable, but we should try to understand this and try to uh, you know try to uh, accept this whatever the Krishna is doing. So we should try to read this again and again. When we read the pastimes of the Lord again and again, our consciousness will be cleared, and the knowledge will be revealed in our heart. And also another thing, by reading the commentaries of the different acharyas, we will come to know what's actually being narrated, being what's actually being happened in the past times. So these are all the commentaries. So now we will stop here. Thank you so much. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki go. Hare Krishna.